I'll use it well.
With the knowledge and skills that I've learned and I'm yet to go and learn at school, I know I can change my community.
Morocco. Designed from the outset to be an ecosystem for innovation, research, and entrepreneurship.
مسحنا البيضان والطاقة ومسحنا دمع الحراقة أفتحنا البيضان والطاقة ومسحنا دمع الحراقة نحن اللي بنحقق أمانينا نجح الوجعل وتحدينا نحن اللي بنحقق أمانينا نجح الوجعل وتحدينا بالأشواق وعد النيل سقياه الغيمة وعدا أصبح في كرشيمة
شايلاه عزيمة أما بالجوع نسينا النيل سقياه الغيمة وعدا أصبح في كرشيمة
النار بتموت لو نحن نسينا الخير بيفوت لو تراخانا النار بتموت لو نحن نسينا الخير بيفوت لو تراخانا عديمة الفايدة عقيمة أليمة
Good morning, good afternoon, Professor Adipala.
Good afternoon, sir. Hi, Kenya.
Let me see what's happening here.
But I think our host, Sineb, is ready to kick us to jumpstart. We're in your hands, Sineb, please.
Thank you, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I think everyone is here, and we may start this session. Right, Prof. Adipala?
Yes, please.
Yes. Okay, so good morning, everyone. It is my pleasure to be a moderator for this special event, the Morocco Higher Education Day, that will focus on the introduction of Morocco and Mohammed VI University. I am Zina Bagizul, and on behalf of the organization committee, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to you all. As someone said, the show must go on. Not that it is a show, but we appreciate your effort to be here together virtually. We are here truly as one, and we do our best when we do it together. So this is a good step in the right direction to forge synergy between all of us for one goal we all want to achieve: harnessing opportunities for agriculture transformation in Africa. We appreciate you taking time off your busy schedules to join us today. We have lined up for you to be fruitful and engaging. Thank you.
The one was Adipala.
To this program, we are pleased to have Prof. Adipala Ekwamu, RUFORUM Executive Secretary, to introduce RUFORUM. Please, Mr. Adipala, you have 10 minutes.
Good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Morocco. I feel I'm in Morocco, even though I'm very, very far in Kampala, Uganda. Really, thank you very much, Sineb, for welcoming us. Thank you, colleagues in Morocco. Thank you, colleagues at the University of Mohammed VI Polytechnic. It is indeed a great honor for me to be with you here. Ladies and gentlemen, briefly, I want to talk about RUFORUM. RUFORUM is a network of 129 universities in Africa. It is an organization that was founded originally by 10 universities in 5 countries. The organization was founded to promote collaborations and partnership in the field of higher education among African universities. It was also founded to harness the existing capacities existent in the different universities across Africa. Thirdly, it was founded to provide a platform for networking, for advocacy, and for resource mobilization for African universities. Our initial focus was to build capacity to respond to the increasing challenges of food and nutritional security in the continent. But in 2014, we broadened the mandate beyond focus on agricultural development to integrate science, technology, and innovation. And during that same year, African Union Commission mandated RUFORUM to lead in the implementation of the science, technology, and innovation strategy. Priority area 1, focus on enhancing food and nutritional security. So we broadly cover now not only the agricultural sector, but also the broader sector of science, technology, and innovation. Our mission, in fact, our vision, is to catalyze the formation and the strengthening of vibrant, transformative universities, catalyzing sustainable and inclusive development to feed and create prosperity for Africa. Our mission is basically to strengthen the capacities of African universities to foster innovations that are responsive to the smallholders, different value chains in the agricultural sector, but also of the business sector. We have 3 strategic objectives, as I've mentioned. One is building synergy from networks of specialization across Africa. We know that the University of Mohammed VI is a high-level university. We would like to harness that capacity and link it to capacities that exist in other universities, such as University of Bamenda in Cameroon. But we can go further than that and link it to the University of Abomey-Calavi in Benin, to University of Stellenbosch in South Africa, to University of Nairobi in Kenya. So across Africa, can we get these universities working collaboratively together to address Africa's development needs? The second is to promote that such product and processes and innovations that come out from the African universities respond directly to the needs of society. Thirdly, to marshal and harness these resources. As I mentioned, we are today being hosted by the University of Mohammed VI Polytechnic. It has really comparative advantage in a number of areas, including renewable energy, fertilizer science, and technology. We would like to harness that capacity to support institutions like University of Eldoret in Kenya, the University of Bukavu in DRC Congo. And thirdly, to facilitate collective actions together among African universities, so that the voice of African universities are heard and are considered in the development processes. We have a number of strategic goals. The first one is really to support human capital development at TD level, TVET level, at master's and doctoral training level, and even at postdoctoral level. We need to strengthen and share research and education facilities through regional collaborations. but also trying to reorient the way we universities do business so that we are more of transformative and forward-looking. Importantly, we work towards increasing the participation and voice of women in education, training, and research. And also, we really work to promote increased use of technology to support effective decentralized learning and sharing of knowledge. And finally, to make sure that we have this platform that brings our universities together to interact, but also bring in other actors to dialogue, to exchange views with African universities. With do this, we have a strategic vision that we renew every 5 to 10 years. Currently, we have a 10-year vision that is the African Universities Agenda for Higher Agricultural Education, Science, Technology, and Innovation Strategy. And that vision hinges into African policy frameworks, such as the Science, Technology, and Innovation Strategy for Africa, the Science Agenda for Africa, the Comprehensive African Agenda for Africa. And as you are aware, all these policies that have been created at national and continental level, they all contribute to not only helping us to achieve the aspiration within the Sustainable Development Goals, but to our bigger agenda, the African Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. So whatever we do at RUFORUM as in member universities is to contribute to that bigger vision of building the Africa that we want. In terms of RUFORUM organizations, we are the vice chancellors form the board of trustees, but also we have members from outside the universities. And once every year, we bring these vice chancellors together to have an annual general meeting. And tomorrow, it is again my honor and pleasure to invite you to our annual general meeting that we are going to hold virtually in Morocco, again hosted by the University of Mohammed VI Polytechnic. Ladies and gentlemen, ours is not simply about giving training opportunities, but trying to train people so that they can go and make change and contribute to development in their countries. And through their contribution, we pull these efforts together. RUFORUM has supported the training of several students from different countries. This slide shows you the students from different parts of Africa, from Senegal, from Cameroon, from Benin, from South Africa, from Sudan, from South Sudan, from Mozambique. It's about training for Africa, training the next generation of Africa, so that these people we train then go and champion development in their respective countries. Ladies and gentlemen, that is briefly what I wanted to talk about to introduce RUFORUM. RUFORUM is a network of universities that work where members work together to support development activities in the continent. Once every year, we meet in different parts of the continent. We were meant to be meeting face-to-face in Morocco. Unfortunately, the heavens did not allow us to do that. But at the same time, we have had a glimpse of Morocco. We can see the people virtually here, but also you saw that documentary about the culture of Morocco. Ladies and gentlemen, I look forward for you attending the meeting tomorrow. And beyond tomorrow, we look forward that we shall be able to meet face to face at the Republic of Benin, the second week of December 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, see you tomorrow and see you in December 2021 in Benin. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Adipala, for your beautiful remarks. Now we are going to listen to Prof. Theresia Nukyo Akenchi, the RUFORUM Deputy Board Chair and Vice Chancellor, University of Bamenda, Cameroon. Please, Mrs. Theresia, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Zineb. And I'm honored to introduce Morocco and UM6P. Thank you very much, RUFORUM, for giving me this opportunity. I'm indeed honored. The president of the University, Mohammed VI Polytechnic, our host, distinguished vice chancellors from RUFORUM member universities, deputy vice chancellors and principals from RUFORUM member universities, the executive secretary of RUFORUM and his team, provosts and deans from RUFORUM member universities, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the RUFORUM board, I welcome you all to this virtual meeting, which is part of the 16th RUFORUM AGM 2020, being hosted by UM6P. Today's event has been organized to introduce UM6P in particular and Morocco in general. I bring greetings from Professor George Kanyama, RUFORUM board chair, and from all other board members, and indeed the RUFORUM network. You will recall that during the 15th annual general meeting held in Cape Coast, Ghana, University Mohammed VI Polytechnic in Morocco and our friends, the OCP, officially offered to host the annual general meeting in November 2020 at UM6P in Benghazi, Morocco. This proposal was unanimously approved by the board meeting and the AGM in December 2019. Accordingly, UM6P and OCP initiated planning and set the 18th to 20th November 2020 as the most appropriate dates for the AGM. As we all know, that courtesy of COVID-19, this is now history. At RUFORUM, we pride ourselves in being part of the solution to responding to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Board Executive Committee approved hosting the 2020 AGM virtually. In this regard, we have explored alternative modes of engagement without losing the rich experience that has hitherto characterized RUFORUM annual general meetings. Although we have held the AGM virtually, UM6P Morocco has been a gracious host, noting that we have been unable to physically experience and see the warm Moroccan hospitality, which I am sure many of you have enjoyed on previous occasions. We are having virtual exhibition of Morocco as a country and UM6P as a world-class university. The Morocco Day that is happening now provides us with an opportunity to get first-hand information from UM6P that joined the network in 2016. This is the first time that the AGM is being hosted in North Africa, closely following the 2019 AGM, the first of its kind hosted in West Africa. These colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, demonstrates RUFORUM's continental footprint. It is a RUFORUM tradition that the AGM incorporates a diversity of activities. This does not only ensure that the different interests are taken care of, but it provides an opportunity to share experiences and learn from across the higher agricultural education, science, technology, and innovation space on the continent, as well as from across the global academic community. In the same vein, we have been hosting higher education days in the different countries of member universities to appreciate and look for areas of convergence across the network. Today, we combine our tradition for both the Morocco Higher Education Day that also serves to showcase UM6P and other universities in Morocco. It will demonstrate potential on higher education private sector partnership by harnessing opportunities for agricultural transformation in Africa. UM6P is renowned for its academic exploits in soil sciences and the ability to attract and create linkages with the private sector. You will agree with me that these are pertinent issues to RUFORUM as a network and to each of our individual universities joining us in this Morocco Day. I therefore request that you pay keen attention to the presentations. I pray that you listen with an open mind. Let us prepare to learn and unlearn some of the practices that have hitherto defined how we operate. I am sure that what UM6P is sharing is applicable to both well-established and emerging universities in the RUFORUM network. While we focus on the higher education private sector linkages, we are not oblivious to the fact that there are several actors in higher education, science, technology, and innovations on the African continent. There are several responsibility centers, the public sector, international agencies, and community-based organizations that are all stakeholders, and we have to continue to advocate for increased partnerships, engagements, and investments in higher education. This is also our responsibility as higher education and research leaders on the continent. Distinguished participants, as we deliberate these issues, join me to thank Professor Hisham El Abti, President of Mohammed VI Polytechnic University, Dengueri, Morocco, and the team of UM6P who have agreed to share their experiences. Join me further to thank the OCP group for being part of this initiative that joins academia with the private sector. Let me also use this opportunity to thank Professor Adipala Ekwamo and the RUFORUM Secretariat team for the coordination of the virtual 16th RUFORUM AGM. As the board, we have not been disappointed. Indeed, you have demonstrated that it can be done, and there are key lessons to adopt for future annual general meetings. Finally, let me use this opportunity to invite you to the RUFORUM annual general meeting that will take place and will involve several dignitaries from within and outside Africa. It will be another virtual meeting. Please check the RUFORUM website and register to participate. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your kind attention, and I wish all of us a fruitful deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Teresa, for your words. and thank you everyone for listening. So, as you might know, this year will be the first AGM to be hosted in North Africa, precisely in Morocco, since 2014, when RUFORUM was set up. It is a confirmation of the expansion of the RUFORUM's geographical footprints across the continent. So please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Hisham Al-Habti, President of the Mohammed VI Polytechnic University, who will deliver welcome remarks and introduce Morocco. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Zine. Professor Adipala, dear presidents, deans, directors, dear professors, researchers, students, friends, colleagues, honorable audience. We were hoping to host you for this conference at Mohammed VI Polytechnic University in Morocco. However, the pandemic has imposed to us all a virtual scenario. I hope to be able to welcome you physically in our Ben Guerir campus very soon. I'm very pleased to open this session today, which is tackling a very important subject, a higher education private sector partnership, harnessing opportunities for agriculture transformation in Africa. In fact, one of the main missions that was given to UM6P is to bridge the gap between research and education institutions from one hand and industries from the other hand. This connection is key in transforming our economies in the African continent, and more particularly agriculture. I will have the pleasure to present to you our university innovative model in today's session. Everybody agrees on the key role that agriculture is playing in Africa. More than 60% of the population is made of smallholder farmers, and about 23% of sub-Saharan Africans' GDP comes from agriculture. However, our continent that has the potential to be the farm of the world seems to be missing many opportunities. Recent analysis has shown that Africa could produce 2 to 3 times more cereals and grains, which would add 20% more cereals and grains to the current worldwide 2.6 billion tons production. The same incremental can be witnessed in other types of crops. So, where will agriculture growth in Africa come from? According to a 2019 McKinsey report, realizing Africa's full agricultural potential will require significant investment. Sub-Saharan Africa will need 8 times more fertilizers, 6 times more improved seeds, at least $8 billion of investment in basic storage, and about $65 billion in irrigation to fulfill its agricultural promise. Much investment will also be needed in basic infrastructure, such as roads, ports, and electricity, plus improvement in policies and regional trade flows. What about R&D? And how can education and research help in unlocking Africa's potential? In addition to the efforts that public and private sectors should continue doing to support R&D, initiatives such as RUFORUM are key to consolidate efforts of universities and research institutions to serve a sustainable African agriculture. When joining this network, our university has committed to actively contribute to developing its activities and initiatives, and I would like here to commend the efforts of Professor Adipala and his team to make the RUFORUM a dynamic and reliable platform for the benefit of its members and the African agriculture more broadly. Thank you for your attention.
Mr. Hisham, and thank you for the numbers and the very, very rich information. And there is no doubt that the agriculture remains a very critical sector for the Moroccan economy. Given its major role in providing employment and disposable income, agriculture can impact the country's annual GDP growth rates in a way that few other sectors can. Now we are going to listen to Prof. Fawzi Bikawi, Director of the National Institute of Agronomic Research in Morocco, who will talk about the agriculture sector in Morocco in more details. Please, Mr. Fawzi Bikawi, the floor is yours.
I would like to share my screen. If you can, just give me a second. Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. So, first of all, hello to everybody. It is a pleasure to be among you, and thank you to RUFORUM for this invitation to share with you some of the information about Moroccan agriculture. As Mr. Hatti said, agriculture played an important role in Africa, and this was the same for Morocco, as I will show through the presentation I'm going to give you in 20 minutes. And it's agriculture sector in Morocco is very, very important, and I'll do my best to again summarize that in 20 minutes. I'll talk about, I'll give first of all a brief overview, and then talk about some of the challenges related to the agriculture in Morocco. Talk us about the achievements of the Green Moroccan Plan that happened in the last 10 years, and talk about the new plan that's planned within the next 10 years, and end up with some research opportunities for collaborations with African universities and research institutions. So Morocco has a large coastal regions on the Mediterranean and on the Atlantic. Plus, it goes through different areas, geographical areas that encompass the mountains, the plains, semi-arid desert oasis, and this gives Morocco really a very wide type of crops and animals that can be used for agriculture. And I'll give some examples in later. So. The agricultural areas in Morocco are distributed differently, and this shows a little bit that distributions. So there is approximately 13% of Moroccan lands that's farm, and of this, about 20% is irrigated and 80% is rain-fed. And of the rain-fed land, 33% is favorable, whereas 67% is unfavorable. Now, agriculture play, as I mentioned, an important role in Moroccan economy, as it contributes approximately 15 to 19% to GDP. It is also an important source of employment, 40% of employment and income for 80% of the rural population. And also, it contributes significantly to the foreign exchange through exports, about 3.4 billion euros or 13% of the total value of export. It also contribute to food security by covering the needs of balanced food products. Morocco at this time cover all its meat requirement and almost all its milk requirement. In terms of vegetables, garden vegetables and fruit, also Morocco produce wide varieties of fruit and vegetables, and basically provide self-sufficiency. On the other hand, cereals in Morocco, Morocco cover only about 60%, and this varies from year to year depending on the rain. And the reason is because the cereals are grown on non-irrigated. Most of the cereals are grown on non-irrigated zones, and when when there is not sufficient rain, Morocco has to import and relies on external productions for importing its cereal, mostly durum wheat and bread wheat. The other component that Morocco cannot produce sufficiently at this time is sugar, as it produced only 50%. There has been a significant improvement in the production of sugar in the last 10 years with the utilization of new varieties and new agronomic technologies. A considerable useful agricultural area of 9 million hectares, which, as I mentioned earlier, about 20% are irrigated. There is also in Morocco an important hydro-agricultural infrastructures. There are 128 dams allowing the mobilization of 17 billion cubic meters of water, of which 14 billion is intended for agricultural use. So as I mentioned earlier, the production of wide varieties of crops and fruit and vegetables. So 5 million hectares is used for cereals, approximately 1 million for olive trees, nearly 260,000 hectares for market gardening, 128,000 hectares for citrus, 365 hectares for fruit trees, 69 hectares for sugar crops, and on the animal side, there are 20 million hens, of which 75% are sheep. Now, some of the challenges that are faced by the agriculture in Morocco, and some of these challenges go beyond Morocco, as you would notice. As I mentioned in this slide, the previous slides, there is the issue of self-sufficiency of food, climate change, water resilience, soil health, and conservation of natural resources. And I will look at point by point these elements. As I mentioned, Morocco has self-sufficiency for a wide variety of products. I talked also about the issues of cereals that are dependent on rain. There are other examples that Morocco used to produce sufficiently, and for example, dates and lentils. Dates, for example, at one time Morocco used to be self-sufficient. With the increased population and also the some problems due to disease, now Morocco does not produce enough dates. Through the Moroccan Green Plan that I will present later, Morocco has a plan to go back to self-sufficiency by planting approximately 17,000 hectares of date trees. Lentils is another example where Morocco at one time used to be self-sufficient. Through with some problems with lentils due mostly to weeds, now Morocco has reduced the amount of areas reserved to lentils and relies on import. We are going back by working on improved varieties. We are going to encourage the farmers to go back to this type of crop, as it plays a very important role, not only for self-sufficiency and as nutrition crop, but also for the health of soil. As you are aware, the lentils are part of the legume family that can fix nitrogen in the soil. Climate change, of course, is another challenge. As you all know, the extreme weather conditions that can affect productivity, less precipitation or poorly distributed in time and space. Like last year, for example, in Morocco, there wasn't enough sufficient rain, and that has affected significantly the productions of cereal and other crops that are grown on rain-fed land. This effect of climate change has been noticeably seen in the last 20 years, and often now Morocco faces this problem of low rainfall. Of course, temperature increase can also affect crop productivity. There are models that shows that a single degree increase can affect by as much as 10% food productivity, and that also affects Morocco. The increase in atmospheric CO2 content is an interesting aspect, as some claim that this will help productivity and others say that it may not have an effect. but it is one of the consequences of climate change. Water deficiency is, I would say, is one of the major issues, and of course it's linked to climate change because of low rainfall and low snowfall. In Morocco, most of the dams are filled through the snow that falls in the Atlas Mountains. And of course, with climate change, this can affect the snow and the rainfall that is going to fill the dams. There is in some area excessive use of water. A lot of farmers relies on irrigation, on classical irrigations. More recently, there is the implementation of drip irrigation that reduces the loss of water and is helping again with the economy of water. Inefficient use in some areas, some farmers grow plants that may be not bestly adapted to those regions, and maybe we should look at towards more drought tolerant varieties in some areas. And finally, lack of infrastructure. Despite all the efforts Morocco has done, and it's significant in terms of building dams, we need to make more efforts in the future to build more dams to basically secure water throughout the seasons that will have a low rainfall. Now I'm going to switch gear and talk some about the realizations of the Moroccan Green Plan, or Plan Maroc in French. This is a plan that was the Ministry of Agriculture has developed and has resulted in some significant improvement in the agriculture of Morocco. And I'm going to give some numbers here. So for example, the export of the agricultural products has been multiplied by 2.4 in 10 years. Some examples, notable examples that have increased significantly: the red fruit, the tomatoes, the argan, all have increased significantly over the last 10 years. The agricultural GDP has been multiplied by 2. The irrigation, using drip irrigation, here again, 3.7 times. The irrigated area through drip irrigation increased from 160,000 hectares to 585,000 hectares. A significant number of trees were planted, 450,000, in particular olive trees, and I will give an example in the following slides. Other trees that have been planted are citrus, for example, also that have been planted in a significant way, and red fruit, as mentioned earlier. An important component of this Morocco Green Plan is the creation of farmers associations, and these are, in my view, play an important role in agriculture. These associations now can help the farmers through different activities: marketing, research and development, communication with the government, development of laws or regulations, etc. And by putting these organizations, by developing and helping these organizations to become independent, I believe that the farmers will gain a lot in the future from these associations. And finally, the decentralization of the budget of the Ministry of Agriculture. I showed in the first map the different regions of Morocco. Each region now has its own directorate for managing the farming areas of their farming areas. I said I will give an example on olive tree and the progress made through this plan. This slide shows the progress in terms of the growing area that has increased by 39% in the period of 10 years. So we went from about 800,000 hectares to more than 1 million hectares. The productivity has followed on the increased area, of course, and there was an increase of 127% of olive oils and oil produced from the olive trees. One component has not evolved significantly, and that's the yield, tons per hectare, which has stayed, remain approximately around 2. And the reason is being because there is a variability in the rain that affects productivity, and also in the varieties. And a lot of areas are still using classical and old varieties that have low yield. And the other factor is agronomic practices that have not been generalized to improve yield. Morocco, following this 10-year plan, Morocco Green Plan, has developed a new strategy called Generation Green. And this is going to focus, has a priority on the human element and to a social protection system in the countryside. So the objective being to emerge an agricultural middle class able to play an important role in the socio-economic balance of rural areas. So some of the objective here, so it's to increase the middle class by 400,000, to increase export by 2, to multiply the export by 2, to increase the agricultural GDP also multiplied by 2, and to create 350,000 new jobs. This will be done by the aggregation of 1 million hectare and encouraging 180,000 new farmers to take in a job with agriculture, to also encourage new entrepreneurs to invest in agriculture, and a number of 200,000 estimated, with 45,000 being young entrepreneurs, and to form 150,000 young people in the area of agriculture, with 10,000 having official diplomas like masters and engineers and PhDs. This new plan also will aim to use 20% of the land irrigated through the wells that will be pumped through by solar energy, improve crop yield by 1.5, diffusion of new technology to preserve soil health and improve water use efficiency, development of electronic services and digital agriculture, and increase R&D expenses by 1.5 to 2 times. I will finish with a few slides to talk about research on some areas that could be a potential area for collaborations. First of all, a few words about INRA, Institut National Recherche Agronomique, to which I belong. So INRA has been involved in registration of varieties, crop varieties, animal varieties that are now registered in official catalog. We've done work in soil mapping. We also developed the method of direct seeding in Morocco that now is being generalized. We have a gen bank for the conservation of natural resources. It has approximately 70,000 accessions at this time. We also have in situ preservation of olive trees, date palm, cactus, fruit trees. We develop and preserve sheep breeds, and also we have selection and multiplication of date palm, cactus, and ergan. So some opportunity for collaboration include the area of water resilience to lack of water, precision agriculture that plays an important role now by improving productivity and helping also in sustainability. Soil conservation and agroecology. Soil is, as you all know, play an important role in productivity. In some area, the soil health is being degraded. So we need to do more effort and do more research to reestablish the health of the soil and develop new varieties that are more productive and more resilient, whether to temperature, to disease, etc. An example of program that INRA has worked on with our partners, Institut Agronomique Hassan II, l'École Nationale d'Agriculture de Meknès and OCP, in mapping 8 million hectares in 33 regions. So basically, we are able to share this information of the soil analysis with farmers that could use it to use the appropriate amount of fertilizer. This map shows the analysis of phosphate, for example, in a specific area of Morocco. The last 2 slides is to talk about an initiative most of you may be familiar, is the Adaptation of African Agriculture to Climate Change. It is an initiative whereby several countries from Africa are partnering to deal with climate change in the area of agriculture. This initiative that started with COP22 has 2 components: an advocacy for increased funding for agriculture adaptation in Africa, and in the contribution to global climate action agenda and accelerate the AAA project development. The component on the solutions to adaptations to climate change, it has 4 activities: soil management, agriculture water management, climate risk management, and finance solutions. In collaborations with UM6P, ICARDA, and CIMMYT, we are working on 5 projects, and we would like, where possible, to invite other African institutions to collaborate with us in these areas. First, in the area of soil information systems, in soil health assessments, in transforming smallholder agriculture in Africa through conservation agriculture and scale appropriate mechanization, in precision agriculture platform for African agrosystems, and in the development of adapted germplasm to reduce vulnerability under climate change context. I will end up with this, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Prof. Fawzi Bkawi, for all those information. Everybody, agriculture knowledge system play a central role in the development and dissemination of knowledge, information, and technologies relevant to food security and environmental sustainability. Formal agriculture education is a very component of agriculture knowledge system. So in this frame, we are now going to listen to Mrs. Sana Azebah and Prof. Redwan Shukrallah, who will tell us about the Hassan II Agronomic and Veterinary Institute case in the contribution of Moroccan higher education institutions to African agriculture development. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Do you hear me?
Yes, Mrs. Sana.
Okay. So good afternoon, dear President, deans, researchers, and colleagues. My name is Sana Zebak, and I am Director of Cooperation at Hassan II Institute for Agriculture and Veterinary. And together with Professor Redwan Shukrallah, we are delighted to share with you some information and data about the Moroccan higher education institutions and their contribution to African agriculture development. So my presentation will address the following subject. I will talk first about the higher education and research system in Morocco, which is composed mainly by universities, but also agricultural institutions. Then I will focus my presentation on IAV Hassan II, which is my institution, and its role in the cooperation, the South-South cooperation. And then Professor Shukrallah will add information on the vocational trainings. So this slide shows the Moroccan agriculture higher education and research system, which is composed mainly through three, let's say, components. The first ones are the higher education and research institutions belonging to the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries. We have also 12 public universities under the umbrella of the Ministry of Higher Education. And recently, since the last 13 or 15 years, we have the creation of private universities, which are very active as well in agriculture together with private companies. Some data on the role of universities in training in the field of agriculture. Here you can see that the 12 universities, they offer trainings in agriculture and related field in either in bachelor, master, or PhD programs. Some of them are giving more in bachelor, like University of Agadir, and others are more focused on master programs. But that means that all of the universities are also contributing to agriculture and research in agriculture. Coming back to the agricultural institutions, as I said previously, which are belonging to the Ministry of Agriculture, we have the higher education and research institution and the research institution. Higher education institutions are IAV Hassan II, ENA of Meknes, and ENFI of Saleh. They have been created around 1950, more or less, and they are different in number regarding the number of students, the diversity of curricula, but also the number of graduated. IAV Hassan II is the most important in terms of students. We have almost 2,000 enrolled students in our two campuses in Rabat and in Agadir. And I will talk later about the specificity of IAV Hassan II. In the other side, regarding research institution, we have the INRA. So the General Director of INRA is with us today. And we have also the INRASH, which is the Fisheries Institute for Research. We cannot dissociate, as you know, training from research. So these are some data regarding the contribution of higher education and research institutions to research. These data are extracted from Scopus and represent the number of publication in highly indexed journals. So as you might see, in the last 20 years, we have almost have contributed together with the research institution in agriculture with the 2000 publication. And these publications, they create links between researchers, and this figure can show you the main partners of Moroccans researchers in agriculture. As you might see, we have mainly partners from Europe, but also some other countries, such as the United States and UK, etc. We have also a very high collaboration within Morocco with, for instance, you can see IAVI with INRA and also with the other universities. Coming back to IAVI Hassan II, as I said, my institution has been created in 1965 through the will of the King Hassan II, sorry. We have 3 missions, like every university, so research, training, and technology and knowledge transfer. And we are under the supervision of the Ministry of Agriculture, means that we receive our budget from the Ministry of Agriculture, but we should accreditate our curricula from the Ministry of Higher Education. We offer 6 trainings curriculum in 6 schools. So we have agriculture, veterinary sciences, geodesic mapping, food, agri-industry, and horticulture and rural engineering. So we deliver diplomas of agronomist, engineer, and also veterinary science doctor. And I would like to stress the fact that IAVI is the only and unique school in veterinary sciences in Morocco. We have also a PhD school within our institution, and this is the unique dedicated school, PhD school for agriculture as well in Morocco. In order to access in our institution, so you have most of the students, they should integrate through the preparatory year for agriculture studies. We have some bridging access to the School of Topography and Rural Engineering from the 3rd year, and 10% of our international students, they are coming, international students that are coming from African countries, as you see in this slide. So we have a total of 1,000 students from 1917 to date. This is only data about students who get their diploma from IAVI, and these data are not including the continuous trainings. So regarding research activities, we have department, laboratories, etc. And as I already said, our doctoral studies school is structured in 4 fields: economic science, agri-food industry, engineering science, and veterinary sciences. IAVI is also editing 3 scientific journals, and I am inviting you to publish and to invite your researchers to publish in our journals. You have the MGIS, which is only dedicated to articles submitted in English, but you have also the REMAV journal, and the late one created is the African Journal on Land Policy and Geospatial Sciences. So I invite you to participate in these journals. And regarding the journal REMAV, so this one, I just would like to inform you that you can see here that we have also authors from other countries, and the rate of these authors are increasing through the years. We have almost 24% of the authors coming from Congo, but also from Benin and Ivory Coast, etc. And our journal, the publication are also cited as a reference in Scopus. So they receive also, even if the journal is not yet indexed in Scopus, but we can find some reference in citation from our articles. So IAV has conducted a large, let's say, cooperation partnership with many countries, and with Africa we have many partnerships. These are representing the number 32 are the memorandum of understanding which are signed with those countries. We also are very active in European programs. IAV is the first institution in Morocco in number of European programs. We have been participating since the first framework program. The last one was Horizon 2020, and we capitalized almost 75 projects. And some of the projects, I gave you some examples. We are in partnership with some countries. For instance, this project on the conversion of bio-waste, we had partners from South Africa, Kenya, and Ghana, and this one from drought also. We had partners from East Africa. So I invite in the future researcher from your institution and to join us to submit together proposal for EU programs. We organize also training on demand. These are some examples of training that IAV had organized for African beneficiaries. For instance, here in animal health, 52 scientists benefited from 30 countries. We have artificial insemination as well. Other topics on land registration, geodesy, and topography. We trained in 2017 130 Guinean technicians, others on irrigation, on mechanization, fisheries, etc. IAV is also very active in the social, let's say, to have a social impact. We have some examples here. We have a project that have helped to the creation of 26 enterprises and cooperatives in the rural area in the last 2 years. As you can see in different sectors, the couscous, Morocco is very known for couscous, but also in other craft, renewable energy, and so on. Our link with private sector is not so strong, but we are working on it. This is always the same. There is a gap between higher education and private sector, but we are encouraging patent registration at IAV. Until now, we have almost 4 patents. We deliver technical assistance to food industry firms. We organize training on demand, for instance, for the veterinary doctors, the private ones. And also we conduct research and development projects together with INRA and with other institutions for the professionals. For instance, here, organic farming professionals and poultry professionals. And finally, we invite you to join our masters. We have one master degree on geospatial sciences and land governance. It will be open for next year. Other masters are on their way of publication. So on poultry, modeling, BIM, irrigation, pasture and range management, and artificial intelligence in agriculture. This is my last slide, I think, and it's about the NELGA. NELGA, because IAV is hosting the North African node for NELGA. NELGA, for people who are not familiar to this, it's an initiative which is focusing on land policy regarding African. we offer activities like scholarship for master and PhD. We are preparing for an e-learning platform that can be used by all universities, African universities. This NELGA is also responsible of the third journal I showed to you in the last slide. And we are preparing to implement a research center of land governance and policy. And I invite you to join our teams for this research center. Finally, it was not the last slide, but the slide before. I really invite you to harness our potential the potential of our capacities to respond together to the Agenda 2063 for Africa and the Sustainable Development Goal. And we can together work on different axes, the training, research, continuous training, networking, and IAV has a very important alumni network in Africa, and we can count on it, and also expertise and technology transfer. Thank you very much, and I invite Professor Shukrallah to continue on vocational training institutions.
Thank you, Sana.
Thank you, Sana. I will be brief. Basically, higher education is good, but if we are shooting for high productivity, we need some hands-on professional, either technician or what we call qualified laborers. So in Morocco, we have developed almost 54 institutions with almost over 6,740 students, and this in different disciplines in all over Morocco. And in this, you can, sorry, you go back.
Sorry.
Could you maintain the slides?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So we have almost 2,600 graduates per year that will be injected within the agriculture sectors. And there is a great need for those hands-on professionals that really work directly in the field in different specialization. Next one, please. And the different training in those different institutions, we have plant, there is institutions that are specialized in plant production. This include aromatic and medicinal plants, horticulture production, vegetable crop, fruit trees, and so on and so forth. You have also the animal production, and this include all kinds of animals, including even beekeepings, and also agriculture, mechanics, rural equipment and topography, food industry. It's something very important, especially for the agro industry and food processing. We also have schools that are specialized in marketing and packaging, and also agriculture, business management, forestry, and nurseryman. So those are the different specialty that you can find in those 50, I would say 54 institutions that are involved in training. Some have 3 years training, some have 2 years training, and for the qualified laborers, usually it's only 6-month training. So it's something that could contribute in the agriculture production and should be really linked to higher education, not only have engineering, master, and PhD. So because those are the ones that will be in the field and working directly in the farm. Another thing which I believe it's very important within the situation of agriculture, it's that we need to do research. When we talk about higher education, we should do research related to whatever the problematic within the end users, and the end users here are the farmers. And one of the major problems in Morocco is water. And I think it has been really well defined by the professor, the director of the INRA, which shows that we are really in an area where we have water scarcity, it's a major problem. So one of the work that has been done and the research, I'm giving some examples that allow to see the research respond to the farmers, and particularly to reduce what we call the water demand and I would say will mitigate the problem of water scarcity. Next one, Sana. And in this slide, I'm showing you some work that has been done in one of the most productive area in Morocco, which is the Souss Massa area, which is in the central of Morocco, and contribute almost to 90% of the export of vegetable in Morocco, as well. Also, 65% of citrus production exported are from this region. In this region, in order to reduce or rationalize the use of water, we have implemented around 30 weather stations covering almost 60,000 hectares, which means one station per 2,000 hectares. And this station allows us to collect every 15 minutes the temperature, global radiation, wind speed, rainfall, and this allows us to calculate HE0. And the message could be sent directly to the farmers to allow them to use a small formula in order to give the right amount of water for each crop that is growing, depending on its stage of growing. So this is something that we allow us to reduce the water consumption by almost 2,000 meter cube per hectares in the citrus, as well for vegetable crops. So this is the kind of research that allow to resolve problems related to the farmers. The second one, and this is the work that we are trying now to do, next one, with the collaboration with the University of Wageningen. As I said, this region that I was talking about in the central of Morocco, most of the growing crop are under greenhouse. So we're trying now to find a way to reduce, to increase the water productivity. That's mean reduce the amount of water that will be used to produce, for example, 1 kilogram of tomatoes. And in this, we are trying, even looking to recover the water transpiration. And this is very important. I don't know if you already know that, for example, the amount of water that you give to your crop, almost 90% is transpired by the plant. So if you can find a way to recover this water, this is something which allow you to reduce almost by 90% your consumption. So this work is undergoing within the campus in Agadir, and it will allow us to reduce the amount of water to produce 1 kilogram of tomato from 40 liters to almost 10 liters, but means 1/4. So this is something that we're looking for, type of research that we're looking for to be applied to resolve problems of the farmers. With this, I think I can finish, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, dear Radwan. Thank you, Sana, for all the good information. Thank you, everyone, for a very interesting talk. Now we can make the floor for the question and answer session. So if anyone has a question, I'm sure all the speakers will be pleased to answer them. Thank you.
I have a question. Hello?
Yes, Matthias.
I have a question. Thank you very much for the very interesting presentation. Matthias Fonte from Cameroon, the University of Bamenda. I want to find out whether in Morocco, if you have mechanisms for involving the universities in policy making. Many times we find that we do work in our universities, in our ministries. They seem to ignore us. You see decisions being taken, whereas we think that we can do better. And there's very little interaction. So I'm wondering whether with the success you have in Morocco, whether you have mechanisms where universities are involved in influencing policy making and also for facilitating the uptake of research results by the end users, the farmers. Thank you.
Would like to.
Okay.
I think we have.
INRA, I mean, through our ministry, we get very often documents that are going to lead to laws or regulations for technical advice. So I would say yes, the Ministry of Agriculture rely on its institutions, and I'm sure others, not only INRA, to provide advice, whether it's regulations of new products or something related to the environment, etc. That's all I would like to say.
I will just add that when the ministry was preparing for the green generation, so the expert, they came to our institutions, to INRA, everywhere, to ask for, for exchange and data, information, etc. So policymakers, they take into consideration let's say the advice of the researchers.
I can also add, Matthias, that
yes.
For example, the case of those stations that we developed in the region of Susmasa, it was piloted at the beginning, and once we showed them the result, it was totally financed. We started only by small station. At the beginning, we had only, I think, around 10. Then once we show the ministry as well as the professional, and most of the time is the professional that could have a lot of impact on the ministry to respond and to adapt whatever strategy or policy. And in this case, I think most of the rest, the 20 other station has been financed by the Ministry of Agriculture. And most of the time, you have to be within the strategy of the Ministry of Agriculture when you're doing research. So basically, it fits within the strategy that is launched by the ministry, either through what we called at the beginning the Moroccan Green Plan. Now we call it another 10 years will be the Green Generation.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Rodwan. Thank you, Sana. Anyone has a question? Yes, Mr.
Peter.
Your microphone is on mute.
Okay.
Mr. Peter.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for this meeting here. I'm very much interested. I thank you for what has been spoken there. Now, I'm Peter Kalebad, a PhD student at Egerton University, Kenya, and I'm an horticulturalist working on production of tomato in greenhouses. From the first that I've found that Morocco is one of the best producers of tomatoes in the world, and Kenya is far below. Now the question is, where is the source of water that's used for tomato production? Because I believe that Morocco is in the desert, something like that, than us in Africa, in the equatorial where we have the rain. Where do you get the source of water, and how do you apply it to the tomato production? Number two, greenhouse production needs substrates. The media for production. What are the media that you are using for producing tomatoes, which are consumed and sold outside? Thank you.
Okay. I think I can respond directly for the substrate. We've been using quite a bit of sand as a substrate, okay? Yes. Sand, and we put a small layer of gravel at the bottom. This is the cheapest substrate that has been used in the region. And we have almost 300 hectares using this type of system. Yeah. With time, we find out that the cocoa peat, which is starting to be imported from outside, and which is really getting cheaper, now most of the people are using cocoa peat, which is give a good result, and particularly for the quality of the product. In terms of the production in Morocco, yes, we export over 460,000 tons per year, but we are not the main producer, you know, in the world. We have Spain, our main competitor, okay? But the source of water, we have two types of source of water. The dam, which is, we have, I think about 2 main dams in the area, but also groundwater. The problem in the last 5 years, we're starting to have a problem either from both the groundwater, it is starting to be depleted, as well as for water in the coming from rain and collected in the dams. Up to now, most of our dams in this region are almost empty because of 3 years of drought. So Morocco now is planning to have one of the largest desalination plants to be used for growing greenhouse production. So it will be functioning at hopefully by April 2021. It's almost 125,000 meter cube a day, just for agriculture. We have the same amount will go for drinking water. So that's something that really Morocco has invested, and also the Ministry of Agriculture has invested a lot of money. And we are thinking to include solar energy as a source to supply those desalination plants. So that's something really very interesting in terms of the type of energy that we are using. The price, this is something, the price will be almost the double or the price of a farmer that is pumping from a groundwater, which is over 150 meters. So, as you know, water in terms of cost in the production of tomato, it's not more than 3% of the cost of production. I hope I did respond to you.
Yes, just one more question. Can I ask?
Of course, Mr. Peter.
Yes, here in my work in the PhD, I'm working on biosolids as a waste add to soil to make a substrate for tomato production. And it has done so well in my research work, and I've got good results. I wanted to, further after my PhD, I want to join this bioresource that you've talked about, that I'll be connected with you and then we work together. It was a very interesting thing for me because it is my line of production, organic production. I don't know how.
We'd be happy to do, yes. Welcome.
Thank you. So you'll get me more information?
Yeah, we will send you the information through University of Mohammed VI.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I see that we are having some question on the conversation. I think we have question for Mrs. Sana about the researchers program at IAV. Also, perhaps you can ask, you can answer, Mrs. Sana?
Yes. So I can see one question about if I want to get to the researchers in IAV, which office do I reach to? Yes, you can contact me. I will send you my email and you just specify which topic and what is your field of interest, and then I will put you in contact with our researchers.
Zineb, I can just add one thing. I think most of the presentation will be at the website of University Mohammed VI. So they will send you a link and then you can download whatever information needed, because in most of those presentations, you get the email of the person that has given the presentation.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Redwan. This is noted. So is anyone having other questions?
There is a hand raised by Zena.
Mr. David?
There is a hand up from Saliru Zena.
I can't see it, but please, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you very well.
Yes, so I'm Sali Ruzena, a RUFORUM supported student at Egerton University, but I'm a Ugandan. My question is, according to the way I've seen, it's like Morocco has gone far ahead with production. It is almost like most of the food crops are 100%, they are actually above 50, meaning there should be a problem of market. How have you organized the farmers who are engaging in production to help them with the marketing of their produce, to help them with the excess produce that they have? How have you organized them so that they get market? Thank you.
You want, so Mr. Fawzi, you want to start?
Sure. I can give a head start, and you're welcome, you and Madam Zepak to add if you want. Well, the Ministry of Agriculture is quite organized, very well organized. For one thing, there is a FoodX. There is an organization that helps in the export market, mostly to European countries for vegetables. But there is also export of fruit trees, oranges, clementines to Russia, to North America, etc. So that's the ministry that really look after some of the logistics. We have also ONSA that helps in the testing. ONSA, c'est Office National de Sécurité et Santé Alimentaire, to ensure that the quality of products meets the international standards. So those institutions, FoodX and ONSA, plays an important role. And the other one that I mentioned in my talk are the associations, and these are relatively new and also plays an important role, and they are getting organized and help the farmers in letting them which market, which variety, which product to produce. All that said, doesn't mean there could be some from time to time in control factor. 2 years ago, for example, there was an overproduction of citrus. Now that's because of other strategic, other factors that are outside control of Morocco, just because of devaluations of currencies or weather that affects one country, not the others. So overall, I would say that the ministry plays an important role in coordinating the productivity and helps the farmers with different programs and also these two institutions that I mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do you have like organizations or cooperatives that farmers in different regions can follow, like when they produce, they can access market very easily or something like that? Because for us, we face like overproduction.
Yeah, well, professionals are the major one that play in the exports of their product. For example, there is an association, what we call APFL, which is the association for both fruit and vegetables that really are really looking for market and also looking for a new market, but also are what I would say it's the association of the farmers to really make sure that to reduce all the obstacles that are that could face any farmers for export. One of the things that Fauzi already said, it's this ONSA. Instead of having your product control at the arrival, most of the time, especially for Europe, ONSA has been accredited that we can do the control here in Morocco and will be directly sent most of the time by trucks in order to be exported to all Europe. Europe is almost 80% of our export. For citrus, we have a new market now, which is Russia, but also we have some that goes to Canada and also to the US. And the markets to African country, particularly Mauritania, Senegal, Mali, and so on, I think it's the farmers who do their job most of the time, exporting their product. One of the good things the government is doing is encouraging export. That means you can get a bonus, like I think between 1 to 3 dirhams per kilogram when you export. So that's also something encourage farmers look for contract. Another thing also that the government is doing to encourage export is to produce good quality. And in order to have a good quality, you need to have a package in-house. And for a package in-house, usually you get subsidized up to 40% from the government. So those are some instruments that has been used by the government in order to promote export.
Okay, thank you very much.
Rodwan, so perhaps we can have one last question. I want to remind you that we still have another question answer session after the presentation, so you may keep your question until the next session. So maybe we can have one last before the presentation of the UM6P. Anyone? Yes, I see. Yes, Mr. Adejobi, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for these presentations. My name is Philippe Laleye. I'm from University of Abomey-Calavi, and particularly from Faculty of Agriculture. These presentations are very, very interesting for us. And I would like to have collaboration. We would like to have collaboration with Morocco institutions for training and research. Because with my faculty, we have many areas of which are very, very similar. But I want to ask one question to, what do you do about fish and fisheries? About fish and fisheries, I want to know what you are doing about training and research.
Sana.
That's the question.
Yes, we do have a program on fisheries and aquaculture at Hassan II Institute of Agriculture and Veterinary Sciences, and we conduct as well activities in research. We did this department, and recently we hosted one trainees from I think it was from Burkina Faso. Yes, he came to IAV for 1 month and has been trained to aquaculture. We organized for him some external visits in the centers of aquaculture in the north of Morocco, etc. So we have also this curriculum included in our schools. But in the other side, there are the INRASH, which is the Institute of Research in fisheries, in marine and fisheries aspects, which is a big institution with many centers all over Morocco. I think that they have 6 centers implemented in the different coast parts of Morocco, and they work on specifically on research.
Thank you, dear Sana. So now I am seeing the conversation and reading some messages, and I guess that we are all sad and disappointed to not be able to meet in person at UM6P, and failure to make a physical site visit due to the current circumstances. I would like to welcome again Mr. Hisham El-Habti, President of the Mohammed VI Polytechnic University, who will make a global presentation about the UM6P. Mr. Hisham, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Zineb. I'm sharing my screen. Does it work?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Thank you. So hi again. I will take between 15 and 20 minutes to give you a short presentation of the University Mohammed VI Polytechnic. So the main reason behind the University Mohammed UM6P is how to enable Africa facing the challenges, and the challenges, as you know, the African challenges are the human capital development, which is the most important thing. How, and the question was asked before, how to think about agile public policies linked to science, and this is a very important topic. How to develop a sustainable industrialization, and one of the most important things is how to manage rationally natural resources. To answer those challenges or those questions, we want, as a vision for UM6P, to develop research and innovation for Africa's sustainable development. And we translate those challenges in research topics, from water, agriculture, environment, natural resources and food security, renewable energy, to geology and sustainable mining, to behavioral sciences, medical application interface, and industrial economy and immersion for Africa. So this is the main reason behind the construction and the building of UM6P. If you have to keep one thing in mind, is how to be a research and innovation platforms for Africa's sustainable development. So the university is situated in a new city here in Morocco, in Ben Guerir, 55 kilometers north of Marrakesh, between Marrakesh and Casablanca. This new city of 1,000 hectares has the University Mohammed VI Polytechnic as the heart as a heart of this new city. So what you are, what I'm projecting here in this slide is the University Mohammed VI Polytechnic as a center for the development of this new city, leveraging on what we call the living labs, which are the green energy park, where we are testing the technologies for solar energy, the green and smart building park, which is a living lab for all the new waves for construction and how to develop green and smart buildings. We have a data center with the high performance computing, one of the best and the fastest HPC, high performance computing in Africa. And we have a platform for incubation and entrepreneurship. The university, we want it as a safe space, and this term is very important to us. We want to host academics, students, people from the communities, and policymakers around questions that are for interest for the communities. And we want, as I said, to bring science to the policy making, from political science, from behavioral sciences, to understand how people can adopt or can accept the decisions made by the policymakers, and the economics and social sciences. And all this safe space is developed under a trust between the stakeholders. So as I said, the main reason behind the construction of the university is research. And because we believe that scientific research could be and will be a lever for Africa's development. And to do that, we develop what we are calling the real-scale experimentation platforms, which are full-scale laboratories. We have in here around the university in Ben Guerir one experimental farm with more than 100 hectares, where our students from the School of Agriculture are testing and developing their research. We have, as I said, a green energy park where we are testing the new technologies for solar energy. We have a mine, experimental mine, full-fledged mine, open pit mine here next to the university, where our researchers are testing their patents and their findings. We have a very big fab lab, and our students are working a lot in this platform to give life to their ideas. We have urban new universities, which are experimental laboratories for our School of Architecture. And in addition to that, as I said, we have a data center, and we have a digital learning lab, and we have an art lab. And those are just to give you an idea about the path we are following about research is leveraging on real-scale experimentation platforms to be next and to be very close to the questions the communities are asking. And from this year, we have a campus in Laayoune, for instance, to answer the questions about the salinity, about the agriculture in arid areas. How to develop research? We are very young university. We are less than 4 years old, and we want to train and to build our capacities through research. So when we have a research topic, we partner with the university, with a research lab from abroad. We build 2 teams. It's a mirror mode. One team from UM6P and one team from the research laboratories in partnership with. And during the period of the research, we are building our own capacities by giving the chance and the opportunities to our PhDs and postdocs and researchers to be in connection with the other researchers from other universities. The list you have here in this slide is a very small list. We have more than 70 partners in the world, from Columbia University, MIT, École Polytechnique Fédérale de Lausanne, Supagro from Montpellier, Sciences Po, ICBA, and so on and so forth. In terms of education, we want to develop conventional and non-conventional pedagogy, and we assume this this position. So we have, in the conventional mode, we have 3 main departments. The first one is in the science and technology, the second one in the humanities, and the third one is the Africa Business School. And in those departments, we have schools. We have School of Industrial Management, School of Agriculture, Fertilizer, and Environment Sciences. We have the School of Architecture, Planning, and Design. We have a Green Technology Institute, School of Computer Science, and the Institute of Science, Technology, and Innovation. And those are under the umbrella of the Science and Technology cluster. We have Humanities, Economics, and Social Sciences cluster. And we have, as I said, a business school. And under this business school, we have Africa Business School. We have the School of Hospitality, Business and Management, and School of Collective Intelligence. And from last year, we have our Center for Doctoral Studies. We have continuous training, MBAs, executive master, executive certificates, and short courses. The non-conventional way for the education, so we put the gamification and the peer-to-peer learning at the heart of our pedagogy. So we have the 1337 school, for instance, which is a coding school where there is no professor, there is no faculty, is 100% peer-to-peer learning. And now we have more than 600 students in this school, and the students are doing very, very well. We developed and we invested a lot on the digital learning, and we were very happy to have those capacity during the lockdown, which was caused by the COVID pandemic. Now we have 4 operational production studios here in Belgrade, and we are working with the public universities to have 12 new studios. And we developed a MOOC which is now published on edX platform. We invested a lot on the incubation entrepreneurship spirit. So we have a platform called StartGate, more than 3,000 square meters, where we are hosting incubation and acceleration programs for the startups. We developed programs with MIT Sandbox, the Innovation Fund program, which is a pre-incubation or ideation program for the student and from the faculty and staff of UM6P. Last year, we developed an acceleration program with Mass Challenge, where we hosted 20 startups from all over the world. The figures now, we have 1,400 students, 55% male and 45 female students. We have more now. This is the figure has to be updated about the PhD. Now we have 260 PhD students, and by the end of the year, we will have about 300 PhD students. We are a lot in the engineering and in the master programs. We are a graduate university, so that's why we develop a lot in the masters of research. As I said, we want to be very close to the field. So we developed thematic sites to respond to territorial challenges. So here in Belgrade, this is the Central Campus, and it's dedicated to applied research and the teaching of what we call science exact sciences. Now we have a campus in Rabat that hosts the Faculty of Governance, Economics, and Social Sciences in order to be as close as possible to the Center of Public Policy. We have now in Laayoune, in Fumluad, the African Sustainable Agricultural Research Institute, which is dedicated to the agricultural challenges of Morocco and Africa. And the next few years, we will develop 2 new campuses, one in Casablanca in order to ensure proximity to the business world. We will have the Africa Business School there. And in Mazagan, next to El Jadida, which is a new urban, we want to have a university hub to host a research center in the fields of chemistry and a startup incubation platform. So as I said, the entrepreneurship is very important to us. That's why we developed an ecosystem for business. So from the ideation, incubation, acceleration, and the development. So we have all the building blocks of this program within the university. We developed a venture capital to help the student, the staff, the researcher developing their startups. We want the sustainability and the development of the community at the heart of our mission. That's why we are very anchored locally through the designate structures for young people in the region. We developed a high school called Lycée d'Excellence, and which is a great opportunity for the youth all over Morocco to prepare the engineering schools here in Morocco and in France. We are very close to the cooperative here in the province of Al-Hamna, and we developed Ben Guerir Community College for the students from the city, from the region of Ben Guerir. And we now, this picture is the signature of a convention with the authorities, the local authorities here in Ben Guerir. We work a lot with the cooperative in the field of the quinoa, in the field of the carpet, and in the field of the Amazon, working very closely with the people from the city. And that's it from my side. So we have, I don't know if it works.
I think that what we should be asking ourselves is what really is happening in Africa. And I think that it is remarkable in terms of a rising Africa and a new Africa and a lot of the different conversations that I've had. I just come from King Mohammed VI Polytechnic University, which I think was, to put it in vernacular, blew my mind away. It was just really fantastic.
Je crois que le rêve du roi Mohamed VI, de voir que le Maroc, certainement qu'il y a des ressources, mais surtout compter sur les ressources humaines et de bâtir ces ressources, pas seulement pour le Maroc, mais pour l'Afrique et pour le monde. Donc, ce que nous sommes en train de construire ici, c'est de voir comment le monde de demain peut apprendre de l'Afrique.
I've seen here transformation. So when you talk about transformation of African economies, this is an excellent example of what can be made, the necessary element to transform fundamentally African economies by bringing together knowledge, education, and production.
So thank you for your attention, and Zineb, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hisham, for this great presentation of the UM6P. There is no more left to say after this big presentation. I will let you with this video about, so you can see a little bit the places and the composite of the university, and also understand more about its vision. So please, Francis, if you can share the vision video of the UM6P. Thank you.
In 2017, a new research and innovation university was inaugurated here in Morocco. Designed from the outset to be an ecosystem for innovation, research, and entrepreneurship, the first of its kind to be built in Africa. A next-generation university with 5 founding principles: promoting research, innovation, and entrepreneurship, developing skills and knowledge, bringing forth a new generation of competent leaders, developing sustainable partnerships, sharing the values of social responsibility and sustainable development, attracting many of the best minds from Africa and across the world to its main campus here in Ben Guerir, 50 kilometers from Marrakesh. Mohammed VI Polytechnic University has a forward-looking approach to research and education, fully focused on innovation, experimentation, and the pursuit of excellence, with an ethos of learning by doing. PhD students and professors work together as part of a unique entrepreneurial culture, developing pertinent research projects critical to helping Africa realize its potential, with experimentation at the heart of education, starting research in small laboratories before scaling up to full-size experimentation in our living labs. Such as the experimental farms to test new methods in agriculture and fertilization. Making ideas grow and incubate in the innovation and entrepreneurship platform with a network of mentors, coaches, and numerous scale-up opportunities. Tackling the challenges of education in Africa is a core principle of the university. By being close to policymakers while being anchored in academic analysis and knowledge, the university focuses on bringing concrete answers to the population's needs. The Digital Learning Lab develops digital modes of education, including massive open online courses, widening the reach of education and knowledge. The university aims to bring forth a new generation of environmentally conscious, competent leaders, offering scholarships to the best students from remote areas, being socially inclusive, giving a chance to everybody to succeed. The university is connected to a global network of academic and research institutions, while also developing partnerships with public institutions and industry, collaborating in R&D, continuous education, and knowledge transfer. Revitalizing agriculture in Africa is a challenge not only for the people of Africa, but for the people of an ever-growing world. By bringing humanities and technology sciences to the continent, and by educating the next generation of competent leaders, Mohammed VI Polytechnic University brings a solid contribution to Africa's sustainable development. Mohammed VI Polytechnic University, nurturing today's talent, impacting tomorrow's Africa.
Thank you, Francis, for sharing this video. So now, after we had this presentation of the UM6P, we will zoom on the School of Agriculture with Mr. Abdelaziz Yasri, who is the Director of Agriculture School of UM6P, and he will tell us more about the agricultural research platforms at UM6P. Mr. Aziz Yasri, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you, Zineb. Thank you, Zineb, for this for your brief introduction. Now, after the global introduction of the university that we hope given by our president, Mr. Hisham Al-Habti, and we hope that you have now a good idea about what's happening in Morocco in this wonderful university. We will now, in the following session, do more focus on the agricultural sciences at UM6P. And I will start by introducing the research platform. My colleagues will cover different aspects of agricultural sciences at the university. So let me share my screen here. Sorry. There you go. Do you see my screen?
Yes, Mr. Aziz.
Yes, okay. So let's have a focus, like Zineb just said, on the agriculture and at UM6P. So today, the agriculture sciences are made from 4 pillars. So research and education. So we have the educational component covered through the School of Agriculture, Fertilizer, Environment. So 3 units or 3 pillars are covering the research part in agriculture. So we do have the Agricultural Innovation and Technology Transfer Center, which is made from 10 advanced experimental farms in Africa, the agrobiotic platform, which is research based on biotechnology applied to agriculture. And the third one is the Center for Mapping African Soils and Developing Adapted Fertilizer for Africa. So these centers and units are connected to each other to support the vision and the mission of the university for tackling the challenges of the African agriculture in a changing climate context. So let me touch now on the experimental research platform. The first one is the genomics, the genomic platforms, which is really acting as for research and also for services in the world of genomics for plants and also from non-plant organisms. We do have also a platform in phytopathology, a platform in phenotyping, a platform in soil laboratories, dry and wet chemistry, and also storage of soil samples. And last and not least, a platform for graphical information system and soil mapping. So in terms of biotechnology platforms, these platforms are connected again to each other in terms of research programs. One of the research programs is around plant physiology and crop improvement. And one of the platforms used by this program is the phenotyping platform. The natural resource valorization research program is based on one of the platforms that we have in the research, which is valorization of natural resources and biomass. One of the program is around the plant microbiome, and it's using molecular biology and microbiology research platform. And the last one is on phytopathology or plant pathology, is using its own experimental platform in plant pathology. So this platform and research program are aiming to advance the research in agriculture to be able to produce, for example, a new biostimulant, new biocontrol agents, to produce superior plant prototype, and also DNA gene as marker for improving productivity. In terms of plant pathology, is to conduct research and to produce good practices in pest management, to produce tools for plant diseases, diagnostics, and biocontrol agents. So in terms of plant microbiome, this platform and the research team are aiming to produce biofertilizer and bioinoculant, biostimulants, and bioprocesses. Now, another platform is on the genomics. The genomics, which is providing a comprehensive DNA, RNA, and protein analysis services from few samples to tens of thousands of samples. So it's also study large-scale genomics using different techniques in terms of nucleic acid extraction, PCR amplification, sequencing, genotyping, functional genomics, proteomics, and metabolics. All these are supported by cutting-edge technologies, infrastructure, and tools, and unique expertise in bioinformatics. These genomic platforms is not only used for plants, but it's also used for bacteria, for microorganisms in general, and even from animal sciences. The other platform is the Agricultural Innovation and Technology Transfer Center. This is the network of 10 experimental farms recognized by the quality of their infrastructure and services, and focusing on 5 areas of applied research. So this will be elaborated on by my colleague, Professor Mohammed Al-Gharous, in his talk later. So we have a focus on agricultural system development, species conservation and introduction, best management practices, rehabilitation of degraded soils and mining soils, and small mechanization, and digital farming. The other platform is the CISFRA platform. This is the Tikalin Mamou Center for Soil and Fertilizer Research in Africa. It is a center of excellence. It is also serving the African continent in its endeavors of transforming agriculture through reimagining customized fertilizer technologies and innovations that can boost the productivity of tropical agriculture, being in parallel by the core expertise. Of course, it is based on also some pillars which are composed of laboratory services, soil resource inventory and mapping, African soil and fertilizer data archive, and soil and fertilizer research. So this platform will be also we will elaborate a little bit on that one by Professor Leonardo Verkust from CISFRA. Last and not least, the educational component, which is now participating and contributing to the vision of and the mission of the university through the human capital building. This unit is the School of Agriculture, Fertilizers, and Environmental Sciences. It's aiming to become a leader in the sector of education and research in Africa. And we are aiming, and our mission is to train agricultural experts to contribute to food security by advancing research, improving fertilizers and plant products, and through sustainable water and soil management. We have already established some key Master of Sciences program, like a Master in Fertilizer Science and Technology, a Master in Biotechnology and Agrobioscience, a Master in Tropical Agriculture, and a Master in Land and Water. So this Master of Sciences are also supported by other programs like the Executive Master. We have an Executive Master in Crop Nutrition Executive Master, Fertilizer Science and Technology, and Precision Agriculture. So we are participating, like I said, by the School of Agriculture in developing skills for African young researchers. And an example is given here by one of our Master of Science in Fertilizer Science and Technology. As you can see, in a very particular class, we can find up to 9 to 10 different nationalities within the same class. We have already trained some cohorts, and as you can see, the cultural diversity, which is one of our branch of DNA within the School of ESAF. So, of course, all these platforms, educational research, has been set up, and we continue to improve these platforms through key and strong partnership with international university in agriculture, like MIT, University of McGill, University of Laval, and we have also partnership with the research, International Research Institute like INRA, but we are also now developing collaboration with top African university and research centers network through programs like PASSET. We have collaboration with the University of Rwanda. We are establishing many collaboration in Ghana, and we have already some collaboration with some university in Senegal, and the list of the partnership and the collaboration is kept increasing, and we are still seeking this kind of collaboration to empower our research and education, and to support the agricultural African development. So I think by this, I would say that at the university and through the agriculture research and the education, we are still building a big component with which we hope to contribute to the development of science and education in Africa. And with this, I would like to thank you for your attention, and back to Zina.
Thank you so much, Mr. Aziz, for the great presentation of the agriculture platform at the UM6P. As said before, innovation and research are very important to agriculture production development in Africa. And in this same frame, we are now going to listen to Prof. Mohamed El Gharous, the head of the Agriculture Innovation and Technology Transfer Center, ITEC, at UM6P. Please, Mr. Mohamed El Gharous, the floor is yours. Hello? Mr. Gharous, your microphone is on mute.
It's okay now?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Zainab. And you see my presentation, right? You see my presentation?
Yes.
Yes, if you can just put it on...
That's right, on the presentation mode.
Yes,
okay,
thank you.
Okay, thank you, Zainab. Thank you, everybody. So, as has been mentioned, we are talking about agriculture, and one of these components of the Pole of Agriculture at UM6P is the Agricultural Innovation and Technology Transfer Center. I titled my presentation as Bridging Innovation and Agricultural and Applied Agricultural Applied Research Field Research. In fact, as has been mentioned in the allocation of Mr. Labti in terms of the importance of agriculture, we know that the agriculture is one of the important keys for the development in Africa, and that concerning food security, employment, living standards, stability, and so on. And if we look into our production, we are way below potential, and the yield gap is high. And I believe we can reduce that yield gap substantially just by applying or by adopting existing technologies. So the solution is, for me, it lies on the implementation of the integrated system between education, research, and extension. And here at UM6P, we are putting this system into implementation by integrating research and education, and working with extension through collaboration. So my presentation will have two parts. I will just give you some information about this the center, and then the second part I will share with you some success stories in terms of this bridging innovation and agricultural research. If we look into the center, as been mentioned by my colleague, is a network of experimental farm. So the farm within Bengurir is part of this network. And we have the capacity to conduct applied research, training, extension, and provide services in terms of four domains of research that we are looking into in terms of bridging that innovation research. And we're talking here that we see that to improve productivity or production in Africa, or in different farm in Africa, we have to take care of a number of topics of research program. And one of them is the agricultural system development. We need to come up with a agricultural system that stimulate both productivity and innovation, helping farmers raise their income and also their living standards. The second topic that also is important is the best management practices. There, in fact, when we talk about best management practices, it is related to agricultural system, it is related to rehabilitation and other topics. And within this topic, or this domain, we are looking into some point, or I would say 5 or 4 points that are indicated in the core 4 program concerning best management practices. And these are involving mainly the crop management, crop nutrient management, pest management, conservation tillage, and water management. Where we are now, in fact, I'm just sharing with you in terms of this network that we have in the focus about 10 to 14 experimental farms within Africa. But at this stage, we have about 2-3 stations within Morocco. We are in discussion with our colleagues in Senegal through the University of Sheikh Anta Diop for an experimental farm of 20 hectares. We are also in contact with our colleagues in Ivory Coast on an experimental farm of 300 hectares, which those two, the Senegal one and the Ivory Coast one, are in advanced stage. And the third one that will happen within next year, 21, is with collaboration with Ghana. And as you may notice that all our partners are universities. For Senegal is University of Sheikh Anta Diop. For Ivory Coast is the Institut National Polytechnique Houphouët-Boigny, and from Ghana is the University of Cape Coast. So let's me move now to this success story, if I can say, that is an outreach program, which is called El Mutmir, that we are developing or conducting in collaboration with our partner, privileged partner, OCP in Morocco. And this approach is in fact focusing on sharing knowledge and know-how, and it has 4 pillars. The first pillar has come from the idea that you have to see to believe, and that's to stimulate farmers' interest. The second pillar is based on an integrated approach to cover the entire technical itinerary of the crop, from planting to harvest. And then partnership is another pillar, because we cannot do anything by ourselves. We have to involve all stakeholders. And the third pillar, it is in fact as a regional based program that target agricultural regions with different production potential. The component of this project, or this program that is going on, are multiple. We have those demonstration platform, and those demonstration platform are used to show farmers and stakeholders the difference that we could get if we compare with traditional practices by applying new technologies. We have within this is an advice that comes from this soil testing. So we have done up to now more than 30,000 soils testing to farmers through a soil lab within UM6P and through a mobile laboratories that are of number 7. Those laboratories are set in a different region that accompany the farmers and do testing and training at the same time. But those results of these analyses cannot be of benefit for farmers if there is no advice or no recommendation based on those given to farmers. Then there's a component of training for farmers, the son of farmers, and technician, extension agent, and so on. And the other component is the digital solution that I will develop in the next slide. But all this, we organize field days for that gathers more than 500 farmers in every province. And we have about 3 to 4 days on the province, depending on the crop and the stage of the crop that is of interest for this program. So from the digital technology or the digital solution, I am sharing with you some application that has been developed that help farmers. The one is Agripedia. That is a digital farm for consolidation of agronomic knowledge made available to farmers. We have Agri Agent, which is a mobile application for feedback from the field. This tool allows agronomists to be closer to farmers. Then we have a yield simulator that means make it things possible to farmers to calculate the profitability of the agricultural inputs that he has made, that he has applied, and compare that to the market price. Then the NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium digital application that generate, and this is we use this using our soil testing to give farmers some specific and specific or site-specific recommendation. Then we have a mobile application that monitor all the demonstration platform that I mentioned in the previous slide. So in terms of some statistic that we have, that this success story that has done during the last 2 years, we are talking about regions, as you have mentioned, as you may have noticed that we have about 12 regions in Morocco. 10 are concerned with this program, so the beneficiary region are 10. Farmers, we have reached about 2,100 farmers that has been involved in the program. Within the region, we have some provinces, so we are talking about 39 provinces. And in terms of demonstration platform that has been implemented throughout the country are of the number of 6,000. And those platforms, usually we compare the new technology in terms of fertilizers, in terms of seeds, in terms of practices, with the farmer practices. And then lately we have worked on conservation agriculture that Dr. Fawzi has mentioned in terms of no-till. So 600 platforms are installed throughout the country to show to the farmer the importance of conserving, improving your soil health through this technology. So by this, I guess that's all I have to share with you. Any question, will be ready to answer that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. El Gharous. Of course, we will have a question answer session later, but now we will move to a very interesting and one of the biggest challenges of agriculture in Africa, which is the healthy soils. So soils health is very critical to sustainable agriculture productivity and environmental well-being, and it is indeed one of the biggest agriculture challenges, as said before. So about this topic, I would like to welcome Mr. and Prof. Leonardus Verguts from the African Center for Agriculture, Applied Economics and Development inside the UM6P. Prof. Leonardus, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Zineb. Let me share here my screen. Can you see it?
Yes, Leonardus.
Okay, so hello everybody. I would like to greet here Professor Adipala and Mr. Hisham, in the name of whom I greet everybody else. Thank you everybody for being here with us today. I would like also to congratulate Adipala, Professor Adipala, and everybody else involved in the RUFORUM. It's very nice to hear about the history, how it started, and what it is today. So it's a huge tool, and then everybody, it's I would like just to congratulate you guys for building this major tool here. So as Zineb said, so my name is Leonardo Vergutz, and I'm going to talk a little bit with you in this brief 10 minutes that we have today about our initiatives at Mohammed VI Polytechnic University in order to build those healthy soils for a healthy Africa, which is, again, one of the main supporters for the growing development, sustainable development of the whole continent. So I am at CESFRA. I'm representing CESFRA here today at this our Center of Excellence in Soil and Fertilizer Research in Africa. And besides the major pillars that my colleague Professor Aziz showed, we have these main duties here at CESFRA, including soil survey, soil mapping, land use services, lab services, soil phosphorus research, fertilizer use efficiency, contaminants in the soil, and education and training. And what I'm going to talk a little bit with you guys today is about soil health, which, if I can summarize everything in one main topic, would be soil health. Because if we are going away from the soil, from a healthier soil, no one of the other topics, they are going in the right direction. So everything that we do, it's in order to build soil health. So with that said, so we have many different projects going on, including new technology, fertilizer technology, trying to understand how phosphorus behave in the soil using fancy machines like synchrotron-based facilities, and so many other things, like including nanoparticles for fertilizers that try to produce intelligent fertilizers. But again, one of the main things when we talk about the sustainable development of agriculture, especially in Africa, it's the soil health. Why is it so important? It's because healthy soils, they are the foundation for a healthy life. If we want to build healthy Africa, we need to have healthy people. If we want to have healthy people, we need to have healthy food and healthy water. And in order to have healthy water and healthy food, we need to have healthy soil. So they are the foundation of a development of a sustainable environment and a sustainable ecosystem. So in order to do that, we have not only to apply the nutrients, the fertilizers that the soils most of the time they don't have, like in many soils in all around sub-Saharan Africa, which are common for tropical soils, that they lack the nutrients. So not only we have to apply the fertilizers, because there is no magic. If they're not in the soil, they don't go to the plant. But also we have to come up with this sustainable soil management practices, including the crop rotation, cover crops, all those things that help us to build, especially soil organic matter, which would be the main indicator of soil health that we have nowadays. So, and then I would like to take advantage of this slide here to tell you guys that all of what we do here and at UM6P, but more specifically at CESFRA, we are very much well aligned with the 17 SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, trying to really help to fulfill the 2030 agenda of the United Nations, like Professor Adipala already mentioned. So we are very much well aligned with that in this last decade of action that we have to do that. And then to build a soil, so to build healthy soils, it's even more important when we talk about Africa, because this is one of an article published by the New York Times, really showing the big problem, which is the soil degradation, the shrinking of the amount of usable land in Africa, which comes with accompanied by a great increase in people who needs it. So if we take the expectations, by 2050, we will be around 10 billion people on Earth, and half of these people that are coming to Earth, they're going to be here in the African continent. So if we want to be able to feed all these people and then to really have a sustainable development of the whole continent, we must overcome this problem. We must learn how to build healthier soils. And then one of the first things that we have been doing in terms of our projects, which they are in partnership with like many universities, like Mr. Hisham already showed, Vahin University, but also many partners all around Africa, in Ghana and in different countries. The things that we have to do in order to start building those healthier soils, we have to identify the main constraints that we have, the main soil constraints, and then to solve these problems. Because if we have a major soil constraint, it's like a disease for us. If we don't get rid of that disease, we don't have a healthy body. So, and then in order to understand this, we have those main soil constraints all around Africa. And the four biggest ones will be this one here. So we would have the first one, which affects almost 40% of the soils in Africa, would be the low bioavailability of nutrients. Second one would be aluminum toxicity, which comes together with soil acidity, affecting almost 1/4 of the soils all around Africa. Third one would be the high leaching potential of the soils. 18% of the soils affected by this one. And the fourth major one would be the high P fixation capacity of the soils, which then they're going to compete a lot with the plants and decrease a lot the efficiency of the fertilizer that we apply. So if we want to build those healthy soils, we start to have to understand and get rid and then solve these problems. Because at the end, when I have all these problems together, this is what we start to have. We start to have soils that they are really toxic to plants and also microorganisms. So when we do that, then the root system just doesn't grow well in these soils. So if the root system doesn't grow well, we don't have also good above ground biomass production. And then once we have all of that, we start to have carbon input in these soils. We decrease the soil organic carbon. And then by decreasing soil organic carbon, I have a lower soil biodiversity in the soil. And then I start to have soils that looks like this one, a bare soil, when it comes the water, and then just do one of the also major problems that we have all around Africa, which is the erosion. But the erosion again is just a part of this whole cycle of degradation of the soils that we have to get rid if we want to really build those sustainable and productive and healthier soils. So, and then once we talk about this, to build those sustainable and resilient agriculture, it's pretty much, we can again come back to one point, which is soil organic matter management. In this sense, like my colleagues already showed, Ciharuz already just showed about the conservation agriculture, we must learn how to protect our soils and more specifically, how to be able to allow root system to develop in our soils. Because not only they protect a lot the soils, but they are the main source of carbon in the soil, which would help us to bring more soil organic carbon and break this cycle of degradation. So in this sense, you have to use many different practices, and then in different places, we're going to use different ones, and then different weights for different one of these practices, but including no-till, or what I like to say, the minimum tillage, because sometimes we do have to till. The use of cover crops where we can do this is mandatory to protect our soils, to bring more soil biological intensification, to bring more biodiversity. Agroforestry not only brings biodiversity, but also helps the farmers to make more money, to make more income from the land. Manure application, fertilizers, to build a soil fertility where it doesn't exist, almost like 40% of the soils, they don't have a good soil fertility. There is no magic. If I want to have a healthy soils, I must have the nutrients to be able to feed the plants and then feed ourselves. In all those major problems also, we need the amendments. We need to learn how to use them and use them correctly. I'm going to give some examples of what we have been trying to develop in a major project now. And also at the end, once we allow the root system to grow in the soils, then we have more soil organic matter, we bring more biodiversity, which again, it's like the more biodiversity, the more functionalities that we have in our soil, the more resilient against disease, for example, the soil will be, and then the plants and then the crops that we're going to grow. So this is always easier said than done. Who tells us that is Mother Nature. If we look into this map, this is an ISRIC from Varning. So it's the soil organic carbon distribution all around the world. If you see where it's red, you have more carbon. Where it's blue, you have the least carbon in the soil. So we can see easily that the most carbon is stored in the soil. They are in cold regions. And then you come to tropical regions, we have very low carbon in the soil. So even though we might have some big forests, the above ground biomass is huge, but what stays in the soil is very low. So the environment already tells us that this is not very easy to do to improve soil organic matter in the soils, but we must be able to do so. And then one of the big initiatives that we are having, so again, we have a bigger project, a major project with Varning and many partners all around Africa, and also some long-term experiments that we have been planning. And here you can see how the soils, they are very not friendly to root system development. This is a tropical soil, low fertile soil with lots of aluminum toxicity. So you can see here on the right, where you apply lime in the whole soil profile, you allow the root system to grow. Here on the right side, on the left side here, where you apply lime only on the top of the soil, you see that the root system developed only where I applied lime, because I added calcium and I corrected the aluminum toxicity. So when I do that, when I am able to correct the whole soil profile and I allow the root system to grow, then I have here a plant, some crops. They're going to be able to explore better the soil. They're going to be able to explore not only nutrients, but water down to the soil profile. And then this whole plant here is going to be better nourished and more resilient to any biotic and abiotic stress that they might suffer. But then liming is just part of the business, because sometimes we don't have, like Mr. Haru said about the machinery. If you don't have machinery to apply, to mix, sometimes we can use non-liming materials like phosphogypsum. A picture from my PNI showing that the application of phosphogypsum in these soils, when I am allowing them the phosphogypsum to be able to really go down to the soil profile, I also increase the root system development in these soils. And then this is mandatory if you want to build not only resilient crops, but also to improve soil organic matter and then to break the cycle of degradation of these soils. An example of what happened, like this is an example from Brazil, but a soil very similar to this one, high aluminum toxicity, low fertile soil. After 6 years of application of lime and phosphogypsum, they were able to put more than 5 tons per hectare of carbon in the soil profile, down to 1 meter of soil. And 80% of this carbon was down to 40 to 100 centimeters, which is very high amount and very well stabilized carbon. So once we are able to do that, we start to break the cycle of degradation. Then we start to improve the soil fertility of these soils. Then we start to have a more sustainable agriculture. And then this is part of what we are trying to build here, the solutions. Of course, they're going to be different everywhere we go, but then this is the aim that we have. And sorry if I went a little bit over. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Zineb. And if you have any question, I can help. I'm going to be here.
Thank you, Leonardus. Of course, I'm seeing on the chat some questions that we'll be more than happy to answer. As said before by Mr. Hisham Habti or Mr. Abdelaziz Yusri, UM6P has many partners in order to sustain the food security in Africa, and APNI is one of the UM6P partners, and which has currently 4 offices, and the headquarters is located at the Mohammed VI University. We are now going to listen to Prof. Koshik, who is the director of the African Plant Nutrition Institute, APNI, who will talk about the plant nutrition at the forefront for sustainable and intensification in Africa. Please, Mr. Koshik, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Zineb. Let me share my screen. I'm sure all of you are able to see it. Great opportunity for being part of this discussion. Dr. Adipala and several other colleagues, good to see you on screen though. We would all have loved to do this discussion in person. Today I'm going to talk about the African Plant Nutrition Institute and how we are putting the plant nutrition at the forefront of sustainable intensification process in Africa. Several of our colleagues spoke about the increasing population and the food security, nutritional security conditions in Africa. Although Africa contributes to lesser percentage of global population now, but going forward, it's going to be a major contributor to global population increase. And very recently, we have seen that the undernourished population in sub-Saharan Africa has started increasing again, and that might aggravate the situation as the population increases further. And to feed sustainably this population, we need to improve the productivity levels. The cereals, which are basically the cornerstone of food security and nutritional security in the continent, we have to increase that rate of production over 4 times to feed the population. Unfortunately, what happened during the period of 1960 to 2004, Africa yield increased by 30%, whereas the area increased over 180%, as compared to Asia, where yield increased by 260%, whereas area increases 20%. So what happened in Africa is a large number of large area of uncultivated soil are brought into cultivation, and you are all aware of what happens then. I mean, the biomass burning caused by bringing in all these lands under cultivation is a major contributor of global warming and greenhouse gas emissions from Africa. Once the wooded soils are brought into cultivation, organic matter is lost, and so soil health parameters start declining, and so on and so forth. And so intensification is absolutely essential for Africa. And if you compare that with different parts of the world, you will see that yield attainment of Africa, which is the top red graphs, is somewhere near 25% of yield attained, which is the difference between what is attained and what could be attainable. Whereas for other areas of the world, it has shifted pretty much on the higher side. Now, there are several things that are contributors of such kind of low intensification, and if we want to change the scenario, better seeds has to come into place, better irrigation, better plant agronomic management, as well as pest and disease management, all are essential. But all these practices will not yield adequate benefit until and unless we start doing balanced and adequate application of fertilizer. And if you compare sub-Saharan Africa with the rest of the world, or South Asia, which is another high fertilizer consuming area in the world, you will see that sub-Saharan Africa consumes very little amount of fertilizer, and that is one of the questions that is being asked at different forums. Abuja 1 aimed at 50 kg per hectare of fertilizer consumption by 2020, which is not achieved, and people are now thinking about Abuja 2 to further delve into that and what could be a potential objective of fertilizer consumption in the continent. And if you look at just giving an example from maize in sub-Saharan Africa, low nitrogen and soil fertility comes out to be the 2 most important factors affecting production or yield losses in the African continent. So with this background, the African Plant Nutrition Institute was created to focus on plant nutrition research, education, and outreach in Africa. It's headquartered within the UM6P ecosystem at Benghazi, Morocco, and the institution has a mandate of enhanced plant nutrition for a resilient and food secure Africa. We are, our headquarters is located in Benghazi. We have another office in North Africa at Setat. Our West African office is located in Yamoussoukro, and the East and Southern African office is located in Nairobi, Kenya. And the shaded areas where we have our research, education, and outreach footprints. The African Plant Nutrition Institute has identified 3 specific areas where we are going to focus on: the precision nutrient management, climate smart plant nutrition, and plant nutrition for soil health and livelihood. And what we plan to do is our opportunity identifications are done by data supported diagnostics as well as value chain inclusive process. And then the delivery is through capacity building and training. I wanted to emphasize here, since RUFORUM and UM6P is involved in this meeting, is that capacity building and training through educational processes is very close to the core mandate of African Plant Nutrition Institute. Data analytics and publications as outputs, as well as engaging with value chains, which we see as one of the most important part of this impact pathway. Through our innovative plant nutrition, we want to create impact at various scales, at economic, environmental, and social scale, from farm to landscape to agroecological regions. But most importantly, creating impact at each of the compartment of the soil, plant, animal, human continuum, which is, some are saying this One Health, through research, education, and outreach. And for now, as well as the future normals, where we are going to expect a lot of climate and weather aberrations impacting sustainable production systems. I wanted to finish with our educational efforts and outreach efforts through this scholarships, awards, and research funds that has been constituted in collaboration with the OCP and UM6P. We have scholar awards that recognizes outstanding students in the continent. About 10 students were this time awarded for their contribution and in the soil science, plant nutrition, soil fertility, education, and research. We have the Young African Phosphorus Fellowships, 5 of them, which recognizes outstanding research in phosphorus, as well as outreach fellowships, which also recognizes outreach efforts that creates that bridge between knowledge generation and taking it forward to the ground level. African Plant Nutrition Research Fund is currently being advertised, which will provide research grants to African NARES and African universities to delve into several topics which deals with climate change, data initiatives, as well as other topical questions that we are asking within the realm of plant nutrition now. You can always go to our website at www.apni.net for further information. You can subscribe to or follow our publications and social media streams, or contact us at info@apni.net if you need more information on specific issues that I have spoken today. Thank you very much for the opportunities, and I look forward to further discussions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof. Kaushik, for your participation and great information. We would like to welcome Prof. Youssef Brouziene from the International Water Research Institute, UM6P. Prof. Youssef, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Zineb. Hi, everyone. First of all, I would like to express my happiness to be here today, to be part of this successful event. So I would like to thank the organizers. Zineb, do you confirm you can see my slides?
Not yet, not yet.
Fantastic, fantastic. So I was saying that I'm very happy to be here today, and I would like to welcome all the colleagues from RUFORUM to Morocco, their second home country. Today, I will be representing the UM6P's program for water and climate on behalf of his lead, Dr. Shehbouni Ghani. My name is Youssef Brouziene. I am part of this program. The program's name is the International Water Research Institute.
You said we still cannot see your screen.
Oh, sorry. So I will try to share it again.
Thank you.
Is it working now?
Not for me. Yes, now it's working. Perfect. Perfect. If you can just put it on presentation mode, it will be nice. Thank you, Youssef.
Now, is it fine? Still fine?
No, it's black. Yes, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you, Zina. So I was saying that the creation of the International Water Research Institute takes origin from the believing of the UM6P that water resources in the world and specifically in Africa are under increasing pressures. And sometimes this represents a challenge for the nation's development in addition to climate change. The vision of the International Water Research Institute is to develop a world-class institute for water and climate in Africa, with the mission of developing a new paradigm to meet future water challenges in Africa through research, education, and innovation. The overall objectives of our institute is to advance water-related sciences and technologies in Africa through capacity building, research, and education, and also to address climate change issue and to help in tackling its impacts in the continent. In terms of research focus, the International Water Research Institute has four main pillars. The first one is the integrated water resources management within the parcel and also within the watershed scale. The second pillar is advanced water technologies, including wastewater treatment, desalination, etc. And the third pillar is hydroinformatics and hydraulic modeling. And the fourth pillar is climate change and adaptation, including climate smart agriculture. As examples of some of our research products, our team and in collaboration with other partners have developed two decision support tools to monitor water demand of crops, especially through the monitoring of evapotranspiration. These two tools help in identifying the right amount of and time, and also the time of irrigation application across the field. With the help of another program within UM6P called the Center for Remote Sensing Applications, which is actually under the leadership of the same person as our institute, Dr. Shehbouni Ghani. We are taking benefits from the latest hyperspectral technologies to identify different types of crops stress with high accuracy, including water stress. And we are developing sustainable irrigation management strategies, such as the deficit irrigation strategy, using different approaches and techniques, including digital farming, over strategic crops for food safety, food security systems in both Morocco and Africa. As in progress, research and developed projects that are currently run by our institute, I would mention three of high interest to Africa. The first one is co-developed with the École Polytechnique from France, where we are developing a high-resolution regional climate model over Morocco and North Africa to adapt the agricultural sector and water resources in this region. The developed know-how from this project will definitely benefit other regions in Africa. The second project that I would like to mention today is the assessment of yield gap in Africa using remote sensing and crops modeling, which is co-developed with Stanford University and the OCP. The focus in this project will be on climate effects and also on inappropriate fertilization and land use in causing yield gap in Morocco and also in some African countries. The third project is about the exploitation of Earth observation technologies in diverse vital sectors in Africa, which is the actually the results of a partnership with MIT and the OCP. Besides research, the International Water Research Institute operates in innovation too, through the creation of clusters of water technologies and also observatories of climate with other partners. And also we are actually participating in some startup incubation and acceleration programs initiated by the UM6P. In terms of education and capacity building, and even that we are very young program within the university, we are already contributing in master programs built by other entities within the university and actually within our scopes, water and climate. And meanwhile, we are in the process of creating an innovative master program with the private sector and also with decision makers, which will be dedicated to water science and technologies. In this program, high priority will be dedicated to the development of entrepreneurship mindset of the students. A series of MOOCs on climate and water for African youth are under development currently with the OCP and also with a Moroccan Foundation for the Environmental Protection. And we are working with a governmental agency within the Agricultural Ministry to build capacities for their agents. And also we are helping large agribusiness operators in Morocco to rethink their way of managing irrigation water. These are some examples of our partnership with the private sectors and also governmental agencies. Regarding our perspective for Africa, we've got plans to enhance our partnerships with African universities and research centers through joint research programs on water management issues, climate smart agriculture, climate change governance, through education programs too, or within our scopes, water and climate. By the way, the leadership of the International Water Research Institute has a vision for this part. Actually, we are thinking to have colleagues, professors in the local professors from the countries where our projects and activities are held for more sustainable footprint of our actions. We are happy also to join other universities and research centers to submit projects jointly for international calls. For the governmental and non-governmental agencies, we have plans to launch executive programs and capacity building sessions on climate change governance, water resources planning, sustainable irrigation, water management. And we are very happy to help on technical support through consulting on science-based water governance, adaptation and resilience to climate change impacts, etc. Here are some of our partners with who we are partnering to achieve our goals. And I would like to thank you for your attention. We'll be happy to answer any question.
Thank you, Prof. Youssef. Now we can ask questions. The session of question answer is open. I can already see some question at the chat, but If anyone has a question, please, the floor is yours. Anyone? Maybe we can start with a question here in the chat. So I think I have a question here for Dr. Abigada Uganda. I like the university strategy when it comes to food security issues, but I find it not holistic enough. Yes, Mr. Aziz?
We lost you for a few seconds, Zina. Could you say it again?
Yes, of course. I'm seeing here some question. So I have here one from for Dr. Abigada from Uganda. I like the university strategy when it comes to food security issues, but I find it not holistic enough if animal sector is left out. You can promote crop, leave animal sector. The future population needs animal protein as well. Does the university plan to incorporate animal sectors?
Is Mr. Hapti there?
No. No, actually.
I can take that one. I can take that one.
Okay, Mr. Aziz, thank you.
Yes, thank you for the question. It is, of course, was not that detailed in the presentation of Mr. Hapti, nor in our presentation, but Mr. Hapti mentioned that we have a center of research at Laayoune, south of Morocco, and this center is planning to open animal science research center focusing on the dromedaries. So it will be part of the research conducted at the south of Morocco on animal production. I hope I answered the question.
Thank you, Mr. Aziz.
I guess I just sent my answer on the chat about this. Yes, I agree with colleagues, because when we're talking about production system, animal is a part of it. And within the context of Africa, farmers have animal production as a bank. They use it as a bank for themselves, and the integration of crop and livestock is a very important component. That's why I say once we are talking about agricultural system, we think about three types: either crop by itself, it depends where we are, or is animal by itself, or the integration. So that's what I said for the UM6P will, in terms of this integration of crop and livestock, will do that accordingly to where we are. I mean, within this network that we are developing, in some places the integration of animal will be considered. Here at Morocco, we don't have that, because we have our partners, INRA and other institutions. They work on that, and we work on.
I just want to add one thing, please, on this one. So in terms of programs, educational program related to animal production and fishery. So one of the master degree that ESAF, the Agriculture School, has opened is training on the animal production and fishery in collaboration with some Ghanaian universities. So we are putting some collaboration with some university in Cape Coast, Ghana, for teaching this animal production and fishery.
Thank you, Mr. Aziz. I have here a question from Emmanuel Okalani from RUFORUM. His question is UM6P open to collaboration with other similar works done already in Africa? For example, U is currently financing a Soils for Africa led by ISRIC aimed at mapping Africa soils and could be good collaboration points.
Probably Leo, would you like to take this one? on the soil collaboration research?
Yes, maybe. So actually, yes, it's already been done. With the partnership of OCP, so ISRIC is doing a bunch of soil mapping in at least 3 different countries in Sub-Saharan Africa. And now CESFRA is joining this effort. So we are participating in a joint program with them. And in the future, we would do it more and more. So the answer is yes, I think, if I answered.
Thank you, Leonardus. I think it's an answer.
Hello?
Yes, Mr. James, do you have a question?
Yes, I have a simple question here. Thank you for the presentation. I'm basically interested in the area of education and capacity building, specifically in the area of climate smart agriculture. I wanted to know what modalities are there to also include, for example, some technical people in the field already who might require additional capacity building. How is it brought on board? For example, e.g., for example, in the Ministry of Agriculture, you may have staff who may require capacity building. Me, I was looking at it, maybe they're only considering students in universities or institutions. Could you please try to give more light?
Thank you, Mr. James. I will take that one. So where are you from, James Ipilo?
I'm from Uganda. Currently, I work with the Ministry of Agriculture. Yes.
Thank you for that. Yeah. So so this is some of the topics that you have brought in terms of educational programs. So with the we are partnering actually with the Secretariat of RUFORUM to provide some training programs that can be available across the RUFORUM network. We are talking to put in place MOOCs in these topics, MOOCs and micro master degree. This is small master degrees, short time, that are treating such thematics. One of them is the one we are talking about, but we have other topics. Of course, UM6P is engaging with RUFORUM to support this kind of educational programs. Now, at UM6P, in terms of Master of Science or training program, we don't have yet that developed. But of course, we can think of, and through collaboration with the other universities in Africa.
So can I add something? Yunus speaking from OCP.
Yes, please.
Yes, Mr. Yunus.
So we heard this morning, we at the beginning, we heard from Fawzi Bukawi about the AAA initiative, which is Adaptation for African Agriculture, in which there is a big program on climate smart agriculture in sub-Saharan Africa. And we are supporting this program. And within this program, we are putting in place a comprehensive program for African governments in many activities related to this, based on the stress and the adaptation needed in each place. And if Ghani Shabouni is with us, so he can also add some things about the metrics about for this AAA initiatives that he is leading. So yes, there is no specific program on climate smart. There is a specific macro masters that's planned by UM6P, but there are for the needs for the African governments on the climate smart agriculture programs, the AAA initiatives is leading this, and OCP and UM6P is supporting this initiative.
Yeah, definitely. If you may allow me, Zina, please, I would mention something else. As previously said by Yunus, we definitely not have currently a proper master degree course on climate smart, but we deliver specific services on that topic. We've got some research results on this topic achieved by our team, our research team. that is feeding the courses and the material that we are offering within our specific courses. We are happy to collaborate on this side within the AAA program as a member of this initiative.
If I may add something, Ali Shebuni speaking.
Yes, Mr. Adlani Shebuni, please.
Yes, I mean, I have, sorry for not being able to follow on the conference, but I heard the excellent presentation of the colleague from INRA, Fauzi, my dear friend Sana, about the work that they have been doing on education, research in all topics. So our group at UM6P is not meant to be in competition with what it is achieved elsewhere. It's meant to complement and to work in intelligent way, in synergistic way, by bringing something new into the basket. And one thing that seems to me very important is the sustainability science in agriculture, which is a problem-driven action. So it is defined by the problem it addresses rather than the discipline it employs. It does draw as need from multiple disciplines. Natural, social, engineering science, both from the scientists, professional, and from the knowledge of practices. And this is the only way to make sure that technological development is appropriated by the user, because they are part of the solution. Second is the best way to sustain science policy dialogue. Third is the best entrance to link this to SDGs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Shebuni. James, I hope you had your answers.
Yes, please.
So I have here on the chat another question, which is one of the challenges we have is access to quality fertilizers, especially in sub-Saharan Africa. Is UM6P/OCP eager to partner with local entrepreneurs to provide effective fertilizer solutions for African smallholder farmers? This is the first question.
So can I answer?
Of course, Mr. Barada, please.
Okay, so we, OCP have 14 branches in Africa, and they have, let's say, in all Africa, including Kenya, Tanzania, Ethiopia, in East Africa, and they're working closely to Uganda also. So in Africa, there are some comprehensive programs for the fertilizer and the access to fertilizers, but also the access to training. And there is a big programs on one of the big programs is the Agri Boosters, which is helping the farmers to have the access to finance for the inputs, not only for fertilizer, but for the whole inputs, including on the consortium, insurance company, banks, and others. And OCP is supporting for having some seed money on that, helping the farmers to have the access to the product. But not only that, there are also some specific programs dedicated, like the lab on site and the analysis on site and doing some mapping on site. And that's one of the programs. But on the other hand, the partners of OCP, like AP&I, have some specific programs in sub-Saharan Africa, so in all countries, and there is a partnership between OCP and AP&I on developing some activities on the field based on the 4R, so the best use of nutrients for the soil. That's one of the things. The other things is there are UM6P is developing some partnership with some sub-Saharan African universities like Haramaya, Hawassa in Ethiopia. So, and facing some challenges like for sugarcane and the other things, and they are driving some research activities locally. I don't know if Koushik, you can add something.
I think you have covered pretty much most of the things. We are looking at how best we can provide guidance to farmers, smallholder farmers. That is one of the issues that's very critical. How, first of all, access is obviously a very important issue that is flagged by the questioner, but at the same time, once you have the access, how best we can use those fertilizers that is economic and environmentally safe is another issue. And OCP, UM6P, and APNI are working together to create such solutions, as well as forwarding those solutions to the grassroots level, to the extension system through outreach processes.
Thank you, Prof. Koushik. Is there any other question? Mr. Lagharous?
No,
Okay, good. So I guess we have no more question for this session. Thank you so much for all your participation. I will.
Zineb,
Yeah. Yes,
just before we move on to the next item in the conference, I just want to because there is a lot of people asking for how they can collaborate, what is the main contact. So I would like to suggest that since this is being organized within RUFORUM, I think that the RUFORUM Secretariat are doing a great job. We could centralize all this request through RUFORUM Secretariat, with who we are in contact at UM6P, and will be glad to go through any request or any kind of collaboration you are suggesting, if this is okay with our colleagues from RUFORUM. Thank you.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's like Assis.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Prof. Adipala. Thank you so much. Now we will move to the last session and the last part of this conference, which is the closing session. I would like to invite Prof. George Kanyama Thierry, the RUFORUM Board Chair and Vice Chancellor at the Lilongwe University of Agriculture and Natural Resources, Malawi. Please, Prof. George, the floor is yours.
Yes, good evening, good afternoon. Professor George Kanyamapili is hosting the president of Malawi at his university in Rwanda, and the program has stretched. So I have the honor to step in the big shoes of the RUFORUM board chair and read his speech as he had prepared it. The Secretary General of Mohammed VI Polytechnic University, Professor Hicham El Habib, Excellencies, distinguished guests of the Morocco Higher Education Day, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to recognize and appreciate just how successful this expose, the Morocco Higher Education Day, has been. It is a privilege and a great honor for me and on behalf of the entire RUFORUM network and our partners to convey gratitude to Mohammed VI Polytechnic University for hosting such an event, and indeed the 16th RUFORUM Annual General Meeting. Today, we have had the privilege to learn about both the agricultural and tertiary education sectors of the Kingdom of Morocco. Being a network with the mandate to build capacity in agriculture. We have a lot of interest and are grateful to learn how the two sectors are organized there in Morocco. We are also grateful to Mohammed VI Polytechnic for an impressive introduction to its vision, operations, and organizations, as well as its agrobiosciences research and the current research program in partnership with the International Water Research Institute. We trust that this information will go a long way in sparking new collaborations and common interests among the network. Once again, we are grateful that Mohammed VI Polytechnic University could successfully organize such a virtual higher education day, and I attest to that, the first one of its kind for RUFORUM. We can only imagine what it would have been if we had been Bengri face to face. President of Mohammed VI Polytechnic University, Professor Hicham, please be assured that RUFORUM Board of Trustees and the entire network wishes you and your university great success and growth today and in the future. Indeed, we look forward to more active engagement by your university and other universities in Morocco in RUFORUM activities. Finally, let me take this opportunity to invite you all in this call to attend the RUFORUM Annual General Business Meeting tomorrow. Please do register to attend. And myself, as from the Secretariat, I also thank you very much for organizing this webinar and this Morocco Higher Education Day. I have, in my capacity, learned a lot about Mohammed VI. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, dear Florence. And yes, indeed, we are, I'm saying that again, we are very, very disappointed that we could make plans at the University Mohammed VI, but of course, we would like to have you all inside the UM6P University once this situation will take end, hopefully very soon. And now I would like to welcome again Mr. Younes Barada, who will be delivering the closing remarks today. And thank you again for your participation. Mr. Younes, the floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you, Zineb. So on behalf of the President and the Chairman of OCP, Dr. Mustafa Tarab, and on behalf of Mr. Hisham Labti, who is the President of UM6P, and I want to thank Professor Adipala because he's a very good runner and a marathon runner, and he's still with us, and he's still a young guy and doing this great job for Africa. So I'm thanking him for all the effort and giving us this opportunity. I'm thanking Professor Florence and Professor Teresa as a woman, leading woman in Africa. It's a good pleasure for us to be with you and to deliver and to share with you some of small successes coming from these African countries, which is Morocco. And we are proud to be part of this, of our continent, and to try to deliver what we have to deliver together. So as we have seen all together that we do have the same challenges from Morocco. So we have these challenges for climate change, which is common to Africa. We have these challenges for the yield production. We have these challenges for soil health. We have these challenges for water scarcity. We have these challenges for funds to develop the Africa for the future. We have the challenges for conservation agriculture. It's the same everywhere in the continent. And we were somewhere lucky to start some programs, and thanks for our colleagues from the Ministry of Agriculture, these good programs like the Green Morocco, New Green Generation that is coming. We launching some good initiatives like this adaptation of African agriculture. So we think that together within some Moroccan institution, UM6P with INRA and IAV, we can have this consortium to help developing, sharing not only sharing, but sharing and implementing together these best practices around the continent. And that's why with the leadership of Professor Adipala, there are some initiatives started, like what it was told by Professor Yesri about this MicroMaster that started, and it was, as I said, the good running and follow up of Professor Adipala that's pushed for that, because and we are late behind him, and we are sorry that we are not at the same speed than him, but we will try to do our best to be at the same level. So we are also with Professor Adipala, with RUFORUM, trying to develop new initiatives like the putting in place the soil share that will be developed within some of our colleagues with INRA. And also with EAV, with INRA, we will try also to develop the share for irrigation and mechanization. And working also together with Professor Adipala, we are trying to develop the policy programs based for the needs for the African, as it was explained and shared by Professor Adwan Shukrallah. So that's something that it's important to be done, and we will put some seed money on that, like for the digital MOOCs. But what we will do, and it was planned with Professor Adipala, is to put some other funders together in order to develop this specific program, as it was said by Professor Ghani Shabouni. So it has to be linked to the needs and to the reality, and that's why we will plan for a physical program that probably, if we can do it next year, in Ben Guerir, bring in some big private sector together to develop some specific program and to check the opportunity that was to give the example of OCP as private sector, how OCP is putting some cash money to develop the higher education for agriculture, but to put together other private sector African, but not only African, so this international that can have some interest for the business and for developing Africa. So I think the future is ours. As it was said by Professor Adipala, we have to develop African by Africans, and the Africans have to stay in Africa, and there are lots of opportunities, and these opportunities cannot be tackled if you don't have good resources. The good resources have to be developed with the RUFORUM, and I'm glad that there is this platform exists, and within the leadership of Professor Adipala, we will do a good job together. Thank you very much for your attendance, and thank you for being with us at this time late. I know that it's 6:30 p.m. in East Africa, and we are approximately 70 people there. So that's very, very interesting. And thanks also for Zineb for this young lady that comes to UM6P. She's a newcomer, but she demonstrates her ability to run this important meeting and putting at ease everyone during this meeting. Thanks, Zineb, for your facilitating this session.
Thank you so much, Mr. Younes. Thank you, everyone. I would like to thank Prof. Adipala and Francis Otto, Emmanuel, and all the RUFORUM team for making the organization of this event very easy and smooth. I would like to thank Mr. Hisham Habbi and also all the speakers, Prof. Bekawi, Mrs. Sana, Mr. Radwan, Prof. Aziz, Prof. Gharous, Prof. Leonardus, Mr. Kaushik, Mr. Youssef Bruzlin. Thank you all for the great presentation and the very, very relevant information. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for your active participation in this special event, and let's all continue to encourage the philosophy of Africa for Africa.